Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Dix, and for my article I chose to do an article entitled Occupational Therapy Interventions for Employment and Education for Adults with a Serious Mental Illness, a systematic review. The reason I chose to do this article is because a mental illness can seriously hinder a person's life, and employment and education seems kind of like a non-option for them. So I wanted to do this article to get more information on that. This is a systematic review and research literature evaluating the effectiveness of occupational therapy interventions, focusing on participation and performance in occupations related to paid and unpaid employment and education for people with a serious mental illness. The review included occupation and activity-based interventions and interventions addressing performance skills, aspects of the environment, activity demands, and client factors. The goal of occupational therapy and mental health is to help people develop the skills and obtain the supports necessary for independent, interdependent, and productive living. In using client-centered and occupation-based assessments, occupational therapists develop intervention plans based on the client's goals and choices. These interventions result in improved participation in daily life and a better quality of life. The clinical question of this review is what occupational therapy interventions are effective for improving and maintaining participation and performance in paid and unpaid employment and education for adults with severe mental illness. Like I said, the objective of this was to systematically investigate research literature evaluating the effectiveness of interventions within occupational therapy's scope of practice that focus on participation and performance of occupations related to paid and unpaid employment and education for people with a serious mental illness. The World Health Organization reports that 1 in 4 people in the world will be affected by a mental illness or a neurological disorder at some point in their life. And approximately 450 million people have such conditions, placing mental disorders among the leading causes of ill health and disability worldwide. Data indicated that from the United States that over a 12-month period, the prevalence of any diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorder in the population is estimated to be 26.2%. According to the National Health Interview Survey, people with a psychiatric disorder have the lowest employment rate among people with a disability in the United States. The survey results indicated that people with a psychiatric disorder have an employment rate of 48%, compared with a 75% of all other disability categories. That's pretty eye-opening, I believe. People with a serious mental illness have even lower employment rate of 37%. This low employment rate affects workers and their families, the workplace, and the public sector. The burden of depression, for example, is estimated to be $83.1 billion, including $51.5 billion in the workplace costs and $26.1 billion in direct medical costs. Occupational therapy practitioners, through a process of evaluation and interventions that consider the person, the environment, and their complex interaction, assist people with a serious mental illness and their families with meeting role responsibilities. For people with a serious mental illness, example, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, major depression, bipolar, for people with a serious mental illness, developing these skills and obtaining supports necessary for productive living are of particular importance to participating in occupations of paid and unpaid employment, which include work, education, parenting, home management, and volunteerism. So, the results indicate that a strong evidence exists for the effectiveness of supported employment using individual placement and support to result in competitive employment. These outcomes are stronger when combined with cognitive or social skills training. Supported educating programs emphasizing goal setting, skill development, and cognitive training result in increased participation in educational pursuits. The evidence with instrumental activities of daily living, or as we know them, IADLs, that target specific homemaking occupations, and supported parenting was limited but positive. Environmental cognitive support, such as signs and other compensatory strategies, are useful in managing maladaptive behavior. So I felt like this article was pretty eye-opening. The results of this article were very clear and give me a better insight into how hindered individuals with a mental illness are in obtaining a job and education, etc. So thank you all for watching this video, and I hope this gives you a better insight as to the employment and education of individuals with a mental illness.